I'd like to introduce our next speaker, currently serving in the House of Representatives of Florida, and he's running to be our next Attorney General. Please welcome Sean Shaw.
How we doing? Yes. I love it. I've been out here several times, and I don't want you to tell anybody else because other counties get mad because I haven't been there. So don't tell anybody I've been here multiple times. But I love it out here. And listen, when I hear our candidates who are running for governor, when I hear our candidates who are running for ag commissioner, CFO, I get tingles in my skin. Because every one of ours is better than every one of theirs. And it's obvious. And it's just when you start listening to some of the things coming out of the mouths of the Republicans who are running for these various offices, and then when you listen to the silence of these Republicans when we start talking about ICE detention centers. When the president has a press conference in Helsinki, I want you to tell me any Republican that's elected that you heard say a doggone word in Florida, not one. So you can't have the good stuff that you like and not take the bad stuff. You own all of it. And that's what's going to power us to victory in November. You cannot escape what's in D.C. You can't. You cannot run from it. You can't escape it. It's our jobs as candidates to remind people what's up there and what's at stake in these elections. All of ours are better than all of theirs. But listen, I'm here to tell you about an office that I think is the best one in Florida. And I know you've heard from other people, but I'm going to tell you why the Attorney General's office is the best office in Florida. You heard Chris King and I know Philip Levine, they were talking about public education and the environment and all these things. There's only one office that I can sue about every issue you've heard today, and it's the one I'm running for. It's Attorney General, and I intend to do it. I intend to be the most active Attorney General in the country, and let me tell you what I'll do day one, sue the legislature. And I'm going to tell you on what basis. There's a constitutional amendment that says we are allowed to have medicinal cannabis. You passed that last time. The legislature has refused to implement it. There's an amendment whereby you should take dock stamp money and purchase environmentally sensitive lands. The legislature doesn't do it. There's a constitutional amendment that says public schools shall be adequately funded. And if you know anything about Tallahassee, you know that we shovel money to charter schools and away from public education like no one's business. That's 3 lawsuits. Day one. That's what I'm going to do. That's what kind of Attorney General I'm going to be. Look, I say this when I get in front of people. Look, I'm not Pam Bondi. I don't want to be like Pam Bondi. Ain't going to do nothing like Pam Bondi. Politics is about contrast, and the contrast I'm making to people is the way she's run that office is not the way I'm going to run it. You have not seen what an Attorney General who's committed to actually being active could do. You got to look to other states like Massachusetts and California and look at other attorney generals who sue on the ICE detention policy, who sue on Facebook and Cambridge Analytica and your privacy rights. Here in Florida, Pam Bondi is quiet when she ought to be loud and loud when she ought to be quiet on the wrong issues. She's on the wrong side of marriage equality, the wrong side of Obamacare. 15 attorney generals around this country sued about kids in cages. Guess which state wasn't on that list? Bingo. I mean, that's awful. If you are running for Attorney General of any state in this country and you don't have anything to say about kids being separated at the border and being locked in cages, you're running for the wrong office. You're not doing it right. This office is exactly the office that ought to be standing up to those types of policies. And so, look, I'm not running to be the governor's general counsel. I'm not running to get along with the legislature. What you just heard from me is the minute I get elected, we're probably going to have some contentious fights. Good. Good. That's why I'm running. That is exactly why I'm running. If I wanted to sit in the back row and press the no button, I'd run for re-election in the legislature. I'm not doing that. I'm running to go after people that need to be gone after. I'm running to protect Floridians. I'm running to make sure everyone is subject to the same rule of law. I don't care if that's a scammer at your gas pump. I don't care if that is the legislature or the president of the United States. Everyone is subject to the law. Everyone is. And you just have not had an attorney general willing to do it. And I'm making the case to you that I'm willing to do it. That is why I'm running. That is exactly what kind of office we're going to run. Nothing like you have seen before. Nothing like you've seen in this state before. And, people are like, well, how are you going to win? And this is pretty aggressive. And what are you talking about? Well, listen, I'm winning against the Republicans in every poll that's been done right now today. And so that means, what that means is Floridians want this. What that means is the majority of Floridians who pass these constitutional amendments, that's not just 50%. 60+% of voters have to pass these constitutional amendments. That means the legislature has disenfranchised 60+% of the voters who pass these amendments. That's not RD. That's just right or wrong. People pass these amendments, you ought to enforce them. That's what I'm going to do. So listen, I'm here to make the case to you. That's what I'm telling you. This is the best office there is. I can file suit. I don't have to ask permission. I don't have to go down the hall and ask the governor if it's okay. I can get behind a podium and do it within 30 minutes that I want to do it. That's what is so good about this office. And that's what you have not seen in this office in a very long time. Bob Butterworth was the last Democratic Attorney General we've had. That's a long, long time. And so I'm here to tell you, we are in a place and we're in a cycle where this is winnable. Usually what we do is we put all our eggs in the governor's basket and we just hope for the best for these down ballot races. Not this time. These are absolutely on the table. These are winnable. These are seats that are very important. And you tell me what a Democratic cabinet would mean to this state instantly. 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 Quite frankly, I don't care who's in the legislature if you have a Democratic cabinet. Because it's instant change to this state. Whether you're sitting as all these land purchases you make as a cabinet, whether you're sitting at the clemency board. Do you think that Petronas is going to ask a black man that comes to ask for his rights to be restored if he has multiple baby mamas with me sitting right next to him? That's why you have to have people on the clemency board, people in the cabinet, people elected that have diversity, not just of race, of age, of gender, of identity, of geography, of everything. And what we've had in this state for the last 15, 20 years is anything but. And so I will tell you, this is it. I hope I don't have to make the case to you this is the most important election of your lifetime. Listen, I know politicians, we all get up here and we say it every time. This is for real. I tried to go to Homestead and get into that detention center as an elected official, and I couldn't get in because they were only electing federal officials in. But within the walls of that center are kids with foil as blankets ripped from their parents because the president thinks that that's how we ought to do immigration. That's not okay. That's not what this country is about. That is not what ought to be going on in this country. And the only people who can stand up against those things are attorney generals around this country. When the Muslim ban was passed, it was not Congress that stopped that. It was a group of attorney generals who filed a lawsuit against the administration and it got reversed. That's the power in this office. That's why this office is so important. So I want to tell you, I need your vote. I would love to have your vote on August 26th. I'd also love to have your vote on November 6th because this is big time. This is it. And if I'm your next attorney general, I want you to know I'm not going up there to get along. I'm going up there to fight for you. And what I said today is going to be what happens on day one. So I'm Sean Shaw. I'd love to be your next attorney general. Thank you.